Here's a common problem you might run into when doing a minor lift or even a wheel and tire upgrade. On the rear, the increased length of that sway bar link and a lot of wheel back spacing can cause a very unhappy situation. So if a new set of wheels aren't in the plan or in your budget, maybe just a wheel adapter or a spacer would do the trick. But before we look at wheel spacers and adapters, let's take a look at this potential hazard. This insignificant and often overlooked retainer clip that is used for assembly line safety will have the opposite effect for us in the event of a wheel or adapter upgrade. The factory wheel is recessed to accommodate the retainer, but most aftermarket wheels have a smooth wheel mount surface. Case in point, the wheel we will be using, as well as our adapter. By not having a flush mounting surface, it's impossible to torque your lug nuts correctly, and the loss of a wheel and tire could become a painful reality. Now, a wheel adapter is actually legal in most areas. In fact, I don't really know any place that they aren't legal, but check your local listings. But wheel spacers and adapters can get kind of confusing. I see adapters listed as spacers in a lot of catalogs. The confusion seems to be that an adapter can be called a spacer if there's no bolt pattern change. With an adapter, it's possible to change from one bolt pattern to another. Whatever this spacer or adapter is called, to be legal and safe, it needs to have a means for it to be bolted to the axle flange and provide an additional set of wheel studs for the wheel to mount to. Now, a wheel spacer is just that. It's a spacer that's used to just space out the wheel and tire for whatever reasons. But wheel spacers are technically not legal in most areas, and for good reason. The first is the wheel mount surface. It's been compromised by throwing a spacer into the mix. The second is the wheel studs. Spacing the wheel studs out, in effect, shortens them. Most lug nuts are a closed-end acorn style of some kind. We're going to throw on a standard lug nut just so that we can see the thread engagement or lack thereof. With this wheel and spacer combination, we don't even have a full nut of thread engagement. Not good. Now I want to show you an actual wheel adapter install. But before we do, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
Catch that leprechaun. He's got Lucky Charms. They're magically delicious.
Always after me Lucky Charms, the frosted oat cereal with sweet surprises. Hearts, moons, stars, clovers. See? Magically delicious. They're coming. I'll make a tunnel.
Frosted Lucky Charms with sweet surprises.
Magically delicious.
Any 1¼ wheel adapter will have this little issue. The wheel studs will extend out past the adapter wheel mounting surface just enough to cause a problem. The wheel will tighten against the studs instead of the mounting surface. Use a grinder and knock off the top 1/8 of an inch of each stud. You can stop grinding just before the threads start. Use Loctite on the wheel studs and bolt the adapter to the axle. Torque it to about 85 to 95 foot-pounds. With the tire mounted up, the problem's solved.